Brother Knights, it's an honor to address your state convention. I want to start with a note of well-deserved gratitude. Wherever the Knights of Columbus operates, we make a significant impact in the lives of Catholic families, the Church, and beyond. You prove it every day. Your work is a testament to our enduring commitment to charity. I want to thank you for all you do and for who you are. I also want to offer a sincere word of thanks to the wives present this weekend. The constant love and encouragement of our wives makes everything we do possible. The Knights of Columbus is a family organization, and we're all in this together. And so I say again, thank you. Knights are called to be men of chivalry, to sacrifice ourselves out of love for our wives, for our families, and for the Church. This is what Blessed Michael McGivney and the first Knights set out to do. And like them, we are called to do our part, to love our wives as Christ loved the Church, to provide for the widows and the orphans of our fallen brothers, and to stand for the Church without apology. The Catholic Church is the bride of Christ, and she deserves our defense as knights. And the most important defense we can offer today is to strengthen our families in the faith, to keep them Catholic, and to invite others to encounter Christ in the Church. We must increase our devotion to Mary, the Mother of God, and our mother too. If we look to Our Lady and lean on the Lord, the Knights of Columbus will achieve great things in the year ahead. That is what I wish to speak to you about, how we as Knights can expand our impact. Last year, in my message to your state convention, I asked that councils focus on 5 key priorities. First, to strengthen our men in faith and fraternity. Second, to strengthen our Catholic families, both spiritually and financially. Third, to solidify our role as the strong right arm of the Church. Fourth, to expand our witness to charity. And fifth, to strengthen the whole order by enrolling new men in our ranks. Each of these goals is drawn from the essential mission that Father McGivney gave us from the very beginning. He created a band of brothers called to stand with Christ for our families and for those in need. We are Blessed Michael McGivney's spiritual heirs, and we must answer that call in new and renewed ways. And whether you're a member in Vancouver or Virginia, in Luzon or Lublin, on the March for Life in Mexico City, or on the front lines in Mariupol, Ukraine, our mission is the same, even if our specific roles are different. Today, I'd like to revisit those 5 goals to review the progress we've made and the progress we must make in the year ahead. First and foremost, we must strengthen Catholic men. This is the foundation for our success. As I like to say, if you get the man right, you get the family right, you get the parish right, and you affect the whole world. This is the fundamental mission of the Knights of Columbus. We empower Catholic men to live their faith and serve their family, parish, community, and country. And we are taking new steps to fulfill this mission. Many jurisdictions are presently beta testing a new gathering called the CORE meeting. CORE, which is spelled C-O-R, is Latin for heart. And the purpose of the CORE meeting is to get to the heart of the matter. The CORE meeting will form and strengthen Catholic men in faith and fraternity. It will be organized by the local council and will occur outside of the traditional council business meeting. It will be open to all men of the parish, creating an opportunity to meet non-knights and help them become new knights. Each core meeting is built around prayer, fellowship, and faith formation. It's not only an opportunity to study the faith together, it will also provide ongoing opportunities for men to pray with other men and build bonds of friendship. We already know that young Catholics are searching for something like this. A major study recently found that 60% of Catholics between the ages of 18 and 35 participate in some kind of faith formation outside of Mass. This is a demographic we need to reach, and we have seen that efforts to do so are succeeding, especially at the parish level. My old parish is a case in point. The men's group there is vibrant, and it's even better attended than the KFC council meeting. Why is that? Because it's meeting young men where they are today. This is happening all too often. Men's groups are forming in parishes where there is a Knights of Columbus Council, because the council is just not meeting all the needs of the men of the parish. If we don't meet their needs, we know they will go elsewhere and miss out on everything the Knights of Columbus offers Catholic men and their families. We already know that we can reach the rising generation. Our Into the Breach video series has more than 1 million views, with 80% of those views coming from people under 35. And we're currently developing even more tools to reach and engage men. The core meeting will take our outreach to a whole new level. It will tap our existing infrastructure in more than 10,000 parishes, and it will introduce knights and non-knights alike to everything the order offers, from spiritual programs and charitable works to life insurance and other financial products. If your jurisdiction is part of the first wave of the core meeting rollout, I ask you to welcome and support it. If it isn't, the core meeting will be coming very soon, and it may very well be the most important thing you do to strengthen Catholic men, including yourself. Our second goal is to strengthen Catholic families, both spiritually and financially. When Father McGivney founded the Knights, he saw the tremendous danger that Catholic men faced, especially in the workplace. The greatest danger for Catholic men today is not so much from a dangerous job in the factories or the mines, but rather from being swept away in a sea of secularism. We see this reality all around us. Young Catholics are leaving the faith in record numbers. For some of us, this trend hits close to home. Make no mistake, this is the greatest long-term threat to the order and to our Catholic faith. And the best way to turn it around is to have men, fathers, who lead their families in the faith. Studies show that when a father is engaged in his faith, when he leads his family in the faith, the children are 10 times more likely to remain Catholic. For this reason, I encourage all of you to get your families and the families of our brother Knights involved in the Order's activities. There are many opportunities, especially through our charitable programs. We must also protect the financial needs of families. That means inviting more Catholic men to participate in our insurance program. Life insurance is our fundamental fraternal benefit, and it is the key to our success. In addition, in recent years, Knights of Columbus Asset Advisors has made enormous strides in meeting the investment needs of our families. That includes Knights of Columbus mutual funds, which are available to members and non-members alike. And in this time of politically motivated investing and unethical business practices, it's especially important that we offer Catholics not only a morally safe place to invest, but also an assurance that their money is at work furthering charitable works and a mission that is consistent with Catholic teaching. It's an important service and one that Knights of Columbus Asset Advisors was built to provide. When it comes to meeting financial needs, it's my hope that the Knights of Columbus will increasingly become the first choice for Catholic families. This is perfectly in keeping with Father McGivney's vision, and I am sure that he is proud of the work we're doing. If you're not yet an insurance member or invested with the Knights of Columbus, I urge you to give it serious consideration. We are a brotherhood that does great good for the Church and the world, and participation in these fraternal benefits makes it all possible. The third thing we must do is recommit ourselves to being the strong right arm of the Church. The parish has always been the place where we do this first and best, and our priests have perhaps never needed us more. Poll after poll demonstrates the clear fact that Mass attendance is in steep decline. This follows from a lack of belief in the true presence of Christ in the Eucharist. Put simply, the Knights of Columbus must do its part to draw Catholics back to Mass and back to reverent, faithful devotion to our Lord in the Eucharist. This is why the Order strongly supports the National Eucharistic Revival in the United States. Working with our bishops, we have created resources for councils and knights to help revive belief in Christ truly present in the Holy Eucharist. There are numerous ways for every knight to get involved, from a personal and parish level to attending the National Eucharistic Congress in 2024 in Indianapolis. I encourage you to visit kfc.org/Eucharist for more information. And deepening devotion to the Holy Eucharist is not just something for the United States. It's a perennial priority for every Catholic, everywhere. Our knights and councils in every country should play a part. One of the most important ways we can be the strong right arm of the Church today is by standing strong for what we believe. Our fourth goal is to further expand our witness to charity. This is perhaps the most natural for us, for we have always been men of action. Each and every one of you consistently demonstrates this in countless ways. It takes the form of your support for kids in your parish schools, the aid you give to local soup kitchens, and the visits you make to veterans' hospitals. You make the Order proud when you step forward to build homes for the homeless and rally to the aid of local families in need. And one of our most significant efforts this year is our new ASAP program, Aid and Support After Pregnancy. ASAP builds on our decades of support for vulnerable mothers and their unborn children. We are well on our way to reaching our $5 million goal this year, but there's still more work to be done. So far, around 1,300 councils have gotten involved, donating to nearly 900 pregnancy resource centers and maternity homes. Much harder to place a number on, however, is the lifelong impact we are making for mothers and their children. Please keep up the great work for pregnancy centers and maternity homes. The Knights of Columbus has been and will continue to be at the forefront of the fight for life. A growing number of states in the U.S. and in each country where we are present now have annual pro-life marches. More often than not, Knights of Columbus are leading the charge and making it happen. Our work in witnessing to a culture of life is ongoing, and so too is our support for moms and children at every stage. We must also continue to support the people of Ukraine. Among them are more than 2,000 Brother Knights. They are fighting for their lives and their land, and we must stand with them. Sadly, as the war drags on, their needs only increase. I have been asked why the Knights are doing so much to aid Ukraine. The answer is simple. Our Brother Knights are in need. So are their families. We are serving children. We are aiding moms. We are walking with the elderly. And we are strengthening the church throughout Ukraine. We have already raised nearly $21 million through the Ukraine Solidarity Fund. Working with our church leaders and with councils in Ukraine itself, we have given thousands of refugees and families the aid they need, when and where they need it. From food and clothing to warmth and a place to rest. We have welcomed hundreds of thousands of women and children at Knights of Columbus Mercy Centers in Ukraine and Poland. We have helped build orphanages and provide educational opportunities for displaced Ukrainian kids. And with the power grid under attack in the coldest months of winter, we've provided generators to Ukrainian parishes that have kept the church at the center of people's lives. Our charity in Ukraine provides hope and shows the Ukrainian people that they are not alone. That was my message to our Brother Knights in December when I visited Ukraine for the second time since the outbreak of the war. As Pope Francis has written, solidarity means much more than engaging in sporadic acts of generosity. It means thinking and acting in terms of community. And each of us must send that same message through our continued charity, not just in support for Ukraine, but also in every act of charity we perform in our local communities. From the child receiving a warm coat to the family struggling to rebuild after a natural disaster, Knights are there. And whether it's a single mom worried about how to feed her baby, or a seminarian praying and preparing for a life of service, when the Knights of Columbus offers help, we are saying, you are not alone. The Knights are here. Our fifth and final focus is membership growth. I cannot overstate how important this is, not because of numbers or quotas for their own sake, but because of the opportunity the Knights of Columbus affords every Catholic man who is or who wants to be serious about his Catholic faith and his family. If you believe in what I've just laid out, if you believe that the Knights of Columbus has something great to offer men, families, and the church, why wouldn't you invite others to join us? No other organization offers what we do. There's nothing else like the Knights of Columbus. I'm very happy to report that this year we are well on our way to surpassing our membership goals. And I know that has a lot to do with each of you, especially your efforts coming out of the pandemic. I close as I began, by turning to the honor and reverence we Knights offer to Our Lady. In early February, the Supreme Directors and I gathered in Mexico City for a meeting of the Board of Directors. Our pilgrimage had been delayed twice by the pandemic, but it was worth the wait. On the very site where she appeared to Juan Diego, we turned to Our Lady of Guadalupe to offer our prayers and petitions. There, kneeling before the tilma, I reconsecrated the order to Our Lady of Guadalupe, exactly 22 years to the day after past Supreme Knight Carl Anderson first did so. This reconsecration took place as the whole Church embarks upon the 9-year intercontinental novena, preparing for the 500th anniversary of Our Lady of Guadalupe's miraculous appearances. 500 years ago, she entrusted her message of love to a humble layman named Juan Diego. Thanks to his obedience and fidelity, Our Lady's message resulted in one of the most consequential conversions in history and built up the Church in the Western Hemisphere. Her miraculous appearance was an answer to prayer. Bishop Juan de Zumárraga, Mexico's first bishop, was overwhelmed and desperate as he found himself in an impossible situation. He wrote to the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, saying, quote, "If God does not provide the remedy from his hand, the land is about to be completely lost." God's answer was Our Lady of Guadalupe, a woman of the Eucharist, and the rest is history. In our own day, nearly 500 years later, it can seem like we're facing an impossible situation in our families, in the Church, and in the whole of society. Yet, I believe that Our Lady of Guadalupe and the Eucharist are the answer. And as members of the Knights of Columbus, 2 million strong, we are called to follow Saint Juan Diego and be heralds of Our Lady of Guadalupe and the Eucharist in our own day. Under her maternal protection, the Knights of Columbus can and must be the vanguard in building up the Church today. Viva la Virgen de Guadalupe, and Vivat Jesus!